On behalf of your four winds. Ha 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 ha. Alright guys, welcome back to another Big Al Devlin, and this is the very first video in what is to be my Weapons Master series. A series of videos that I hope will go for many years and has been inspired by the videos of Scalagrim and Shadversity. Please check those guys out if you have any interest in medieval weapons, armour or anything along those lines, or HEMA techniques. Now, this particular video is simply a focus on my new weapon that I've collected. This is a brand new hobby to me. I've got a Dane axe on order, but there's a delay unfortunately in the delivery of that. But this is the first thing that's arrived, and this is Conan's Atlantean sword. And oh my, what a beauty! What a heavy beauty, but a beauty nonetheless. Okay, now this is an exact replica of the sword used by Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 1987 Conan the Barbarian movie. It is the sword that, not that his father forges at the beginning in the opening of the film, but it is the sword that he finds within the tomb of the Atlantean giants later on in the movie, about halfway through the movie. And it's a sword that he fights with for pretty much the whole way through the movie. It is an absolute beauty. However, I do lie when I say it's an exact replica. And by that, what I'm saying is the actual original sword in the movie was of course a prop and was as a result made out of stainless steel. Stainless steel, if you were to put it in a sword, which most wall decoration sort of swords and display swords are, if they were used on a battlefield or in a functional way, would shatter, they would break. Okay, stainless steel is not a good steel to use in a functional weapon. This, however, is not made out of stainless steel. It is made out of 1085 high carbon steel that has been tempered to 52 HRC. So this is, and believe it or not, let's just say I've just been transported back in time into a middle battlefield. That was me defending myself against a man-at-arms or a knight, and I could very well do it. You know, if I swung this round in the battlefield, providing it was sharpened, it is provided though, but if I did not sharpen it, this would be a deadly weapon in its own right. Okay. However, what I would say is it's a hard weapon to use, and I'll get into that into another video on how to use this weapon. But what I'll just say quickly is, don't wield this weapon like it's a sword. Wield it like it's a mace or an axe, and you'll do far better with it. Okay, now other than the fact it's made out of high carbon steel, it is exactly a replica of the film's weapon that Arnold used, in the sense that it is 39 inches long, 28 inches of that is the blade. So from pommel to tip, it's 39, but the actual length of the blade is 28 inches. It's quite a short sword for what it is. Essentially, it is a long sword. It makes it a little on the short side, but what it lacks in length, it makes up in girth. Hello, ladies. Anyway, enough of pun intended. But no, this seriously is one fat-ass blade. It might be a little on the short side, but you know, most long swords that a medieval knight would be found using, you know, would normally weigh between 2.5 and 4 pounds, which is, you know, not that heavy, because those swords, as I say, a long sword or any form of sword, typically you don't use it for its weight. If you want to wield a weighty weapon, wield an axe or a mace, a sword is a weapon of elegance, and the damage not comes from the impact, but from the edge, the cutting edge, the drawing cut, so to speak, or the pushing cut that you put into it, the cleave, essentially. Not the hack, but the cleave, okay? And so having a heavy weapon is not necessary, and as I say, most medieval longswords would weigh between 2.5 and, well, roughly 4 pounds in weight. This, however, weighs twice what the heaviest longsword would weigh. It weighs a massive 8 pounds. Now, does that make it unwieldy? Well, yes, as I say, if you were to use sword techniques, it would be a little bit harder. But as I say, there are other techniques that I think you can use with this. Now, I'm not going to get too much into details about what those techniques are in this video, because there are many videos that Scalagrim have done, for example, and Shadversity, that where those guys give their opinion that heavy weapons are kind of useless. Heavy swords are certainly are useless because they slow you down, and basically the lighter the sword the better, because the faster you can move it. I'm actually going to do a counter video on that at one point, because I'm different to those guys. I haven't had official HEMA training as such. Instead, I'm just a big guy who's done a lot of security, had a lot of fights as a result in his life, weighs a lot, is strong with it, and knows how to use that weight to his advantage in a fighting scenario. And so I would, as I say, just from the fact that I'm a big guy alone, we'll do some counter videos to what those guys have said, to say, listen guys, I do agree with you, a lighter sword is more easily used with precision and skill, but for someone like me who doesn't necessarily have that skill, i.e., just say I'm a medieval peasant, so to speak, a man-at-arms, whose fighting hasn't been trained to the same degree as a knight, but wants to be deadly on the battlefield, this kind of weapon is the kind of weapon I would use. I wouldn't use a longsword, I'd use this, because I can do some serious damage with this weapon, with not a low amount of skill. I've got a lot of skill, but I won't have the same skill level as a knight, for example. And I can do some serious damage with this, more damage than I could with a longsword. But I'll get into that in another video. As I say, this is just a focus on the blade itself. I hope you guys love the look of it as much as I do. It is a beautiful weapon. I'm going to go play with it now. So I've spoken enough, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.